Good day, High Magick practitioners. Welcome to the next installment of our First Knowledge lecture, specifically designed for our Neophyte grade initiates. Our goal with this series is to lay a robust foundational framework for your spiritual and magical development. This First Knowledge lecture is all about equipping you with the symbolic vocabulary, practical skills, and spiritual discipline you'll need to navigate the Golden Dawn's hierarchical system, all while fostering that vital connection to the Ineffable Light at the heart of the Order's mission. Today we're diving into Section 6, the Hebrew alphabet. You're about to learn each letter's numerical value, its profound symbolic meaning, and its mystical significance within the Kabbalah. This is crucial because Hebrew is the primary alphabet of Western magic. Every single letter acts as a sacred symbol capable of attracting real forces. And through the techniques of visualization and vibration, you as a magician can learn to harness these forces. Now, you might be thinking of alphabets as just a way to write words, but the Hebrew alphabet was originally designed as a pictorial or hieroglyphic system, much like the ancient Egyptians used. Each letter is a visual representation of an object, but there's so much more to it than that. In Western magic, each letter doesn't just have a literal meaning, it also carries an esoteric meaning, a numerical value, a color, a sound, and various other hidden correspondences. These letters are powerful. They are sacred symbols that attract real forces, and as a magician, you learn to orchestrate these forces through visualization and vibration. What's more, these letters can have a profound psychological influence on you when you meditate upon them, affecting changes in your consciousness. We truly cannot stress enough the importance of memorizing the Hebrew alphabet. It's a tool you will use constantly throughout your ceremonial workings. The 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet correspond directly to the 22 paths of the Tree of Life. Unlike English, Hebrew is read and written from right to left. Another key difference is that all Hebrew letters are consonants. There are no true vowels. While letters like Yod and Vav can sometimes function as vowels, and the silent letters Aleph and Ayin can indicate the position of a vowel, none of them are actual vowels. It wasn't until well into the Christian era that a system for indicating vowels with a nikud, or pointing, was developed to standardize pronunciation. We won't go into the pointing system, but that information is readily available in modern Hebrew texts should you wish to explore it further. Something very important to note is that 5 of the letters Kaf, Mem, Nun, Peh, and Sadi have 2 forms. The second versions of these letters are called finals, and they are used whenever the letter appears at the end of a word. These final letters also possess different numerical values. Let's touch on pronunciation. During the time of MacGregor Mathers, 2 primary dialects of Hebrew were common: Ashkenazic, used in Germany, Poland, and Russia, and Sephardic, which was prevalent in Spain and the Mediterranean. The Golden Dawn teachings emphasize the Sephardic pronunciation. Generally, Hebrew words are almost never accented on the first syllable. The accent usually falls on the final syllable, with secondary accents on every other syllable before the final one. Now, let's explore some of these letters and their profound meanings. Aleph, meaning ox with a value of 1. Aleph embodies the dual principle, representing all that exists and all that does not exist, the positive and negative, life and death. It symbolizes humanity as a collective unity and as the ruler of the earth. Aleph is the glyph of power and stability. It expresses ideas of unity and the fundamental principle by which everything is determined. Bet, meaning house, with a value of 2. Bet is the symbol of all habitations and receptacles, anything that contains. It's virile and paternal, a glyph of active and interior action. Gimel, meaning camel, with a value of 3. Gimel represents activity, the motion of contained, limited existence or non-existence. It is Aleph within Bet. Gimel signifies organic development and produces all ideas originating from corporeal organs and their actions. Dalet, meaning door, with a value of 4. Dalit is the archetype of physical existence. It's the glyph of nature, divisible and divided, expressing every idea that comes from the abundance born of division. It's also associated with the breast, abundant and nutritive objects, and all division and reciprocity. He meaning window, with a value of 5. Here's the principle of universal life. It's feminine, representing breath and all that animates air, life, being. Vav meaning pin or hook, with a value of 6. Vav is the archetype of all fertilizing substances. It's the image of a knot that unites, or the point that separates nothingness and being. It's associated with the sun. This is a universal convertible glyph that allows something to pass from one nature to another. It's also connected to the ear, and all that relates to sound, noise, and wind. Zayin meaning sword or armor, with a value of 7. Zayin represents the completed fertilizing act, every object leading to an end. It's a symbol of luminous refraction, a staff or an arrow. Het meaning fence or enclosure, with a value of 8. Het signifies the enclosure of all unevolved cosmic energy. Think of a field. It's an image of natural or elementary existence. All that requires work, labor, and effort. Tet meaning serpent, with a value of 9. Tet is the symbol of the initial female energy. It represents a place of surety, a refuge, haven, or shelter. It can also signify an aim or goal. It's a glyph of resistance and protection. Yod, meaning hand, with a value of 10. Yod is the opposite of Aleph. It's a steady state continuity. The finger of a person, the extended hand, symbolizes masculinity, the channeling of power. It represents the potential for manifestation, the endurance of spirit, and the timeless flow of eternity. Kaf meaning fist or palm of the hand, with a value of 20. The value of a final kaf is 500. Kaf is the archetype of receivers. It's the image of a hand half closed in the act of taking, an assimilative glyph that receives all forms and gives them shape. A final kaf represents the cosmic final attainment of individual existences. Lamed meaning ox goad, with a value of 30. Lamed suggests everything that is extended, raised, or displayed. It's the glyph of expansive movement, including all ideas of extension, elevation, occupation, and possession. Lamed is the image of power derived from elevation. Mem, meaning water, with a value of 40 and a final mem with a value of 600. Mem embodies the archetype of the maternal creative principle, womanhood, femininity, and all that is fertile and generative. It symbolizes passive yet potent action. Final mem represents the cosmic state of fertility within humanity, both mental and physical. Noon, meaning fish, with a value of 50, and a final noon is 700. Noon is the archetype of all individual and corporeal existences. The offspring of woman, a child, any fruit whatsoever, every produced or reflected being. A final noon is the symbol of the interplay of cosmic energies. Sami, meaning prop or support, with a value of 60. Same is the archetype of female fertility, the ovum, an image of all circumscription. It is a glyph of circular movement. Ayin, meaning eye, with a value of 70. Ayin is the illuminating principle behind the act of impregnation. It is a glyph of material meaning and physical relations. Pe, meaning mouth, with a value of 80. A final pair value is 800. The letter Pe symbolizes the human mouth as the organ of speech, embodying the power of expression, articulation, and communication. It is associated with all aspects of speech and verbal creation. Tizadi meaning fish hook, with a value of 90. The final Tizadi is 900. Tizadi is a symbol of womanhood in a social sense. It signifies movement toward a goal or resolution. A final Tizadi represents the archetype of womanhood in its mythical dimension. Kuf meaning back of the head, with a value of 100. Kuf represents an exalted state of Aleph, transcending the aspects of negativity and death. It embodies the positive active force. Everything that serves, protects, or strives on behalf of humanity. Symbolically, it reflects restraint, compression, and the focused application of power. Hesh, meaning head, with a value of 200. Hesh is the archetype of universal or cosmic structures that hold and define. It corresponds to the human head and symbolizes anything that contains a self-directed, purposeful motion. It is a glyph of inherent movement, whether constructive or destructive, and an image of renewal through motion. Sheen, meaning tooth, with a value of 300. Sheen represents the spirit of God. It is a glyph of dynamic energy, relative duration, and the movement that flows from it. Tav, meaning cross, with a value of 400. Tav is the archetype of all cosmic existence, a symbol of symbols. It represents that which is mutual and reciprocal, the seal of completion and the image of perfection. Israel Regardie, a well-known author and teacher of the Golden Dawn tradition, emphasized that neophytes should learn to draw the Hebrew letters as accurately as possible. To support this, he provided Golden Dawn temples with Hebrew practice sheets and recommended using a calligraphy pen for the task. For greater ease and simplicity, another author, Cicero, suggests using a lettering pen or calligraphy marker. These markers feature a felt tip with a broad, angled edge. Hold the marker so that the wide edge of the tip is perpendicular to the guidelines on your practice sheet. As you move the marker upward, downward, and from left to right, it will naturally produce thin vertical strokes and thick horizontal ones, creating the distinctive style of Hebrew script. Always remember that the Hebrew letters are holy symbols, and as such they should be carefully and faithfully rendered. All the letters are the same height, with the exception of Lamed, which is taller than the others, and all of the finals, except for final Mem, which have tails that extend below the other letters. Final Mem is unique because it's the only oblong letter, thicker in width than in depth. The general idea behind the Hebrew letters is a square formation. You should draw these letters repeatedly until you are proficient in recreating them. Well, that concludes our first knowledge lecture. The information contained within is meant to be committed to memory. Remember that High Magick practices will support and deepen your understanding of the Hebrew alphabet, which is commonly used in the Hermetic order of the Golden Dawn and other traditions. For our valued Patreon supporters, you have exclusive access to download our Hebrew alphabet quick guide for later reference and study. If you're not yet a member of High Magick, we encourage you to join our Patreon community to unlock this guide and other exclusive material. We are committed to boosting your spiritual growth by providing necessary Hermetic knowledge in an easy-to-understand way. Don't miss the next episode, where we'll delve into common questions for examinations on the material we've covered in all the sections you've watched so far. These exams will include questions about the initiation ritual and are designed to evaluate your understanding of these essential concepts as a neophyte. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow magicians. Your support on Patreon or PayPal helps us continue creating exclusive content for your magical journey. Go forth with clarity and will. Enlightenment isn't a destination, it's the fire you tend along the way. Be ready for the examinations, magician. The trials await.